often imitated, never duplicated. I am Milan Trezor, and this is Swipe Left. Swipe left. Swipe left. Hey guys, welcome. This is Swipe Left. This is February the 28th. It is our last day of Black History Month. Listen, I was feeling festive. It is what it is. It was a whole 28 days to celebrate us. And hey, I'm here for it. So, we're going to close out this month like we do every other month. We're going to cut through the bull. We're going to sort through the mess. And when we get the facts straight, we're going to what? Swipe left. Okay, you know what? Today's show, listen, you guys, is I have a lot of updates to stories that we've done in previous weeks. So that's interesting. Very interesting. I was like, wow. Sometimes I won't have updates at all, for months. And then I look up and here I have like 3 updates in 1 week. Whatever. We're going to get to them. First up, let's talk about B. Smith. B. Smith, sad to say, she has passed away at the age of 70 due to her battle with Alzheimer. B. Smith, for those of you who don't know, she is, and you know what? It's perfect to talk about her, but not the fact that she's passed, but perfect to talk about her this month, Black History Month. B. Smith is our Martha Stewart. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. She's a lifestyle maven. She was our version of Martha Stewart, okay? B. Smith was that girl. If you don't know a lot about B. Smith, take some time, Google her. Trust me, she'll come up. Now, like I said, we got a lot of updates. So we're going to say rest in peace to B. Smith. She can finally be peaceful and not be battling with that terrible disease anymore. Alzheimer's is a horrible, horrible disease. If you've ever seen anybody go through it, it's horrible. And she has been battling for years with it. So rest in peace, B. Smith. But this is a little bit of an update. Uh, Last year, there was a whole big, I'm going to use the word, kerfuffle. Beef Smith's husband, there was a whole drama surrounding him and his new girlfriend and how they were living in the house together with B while she was going through. And listen, everybody wasn't here for it. Everybody wasn't here for it. A lot of people had questions and felt a certain type of way. Me being one of them. I just, listen, it goes with my personality. I wouldn't care if I was dealing with Alzheimer and I didn't remember a lot of things or whatever was going on. I am a selfish lover. I don't share my man on purpose, period. No matter what. No matter what. And as far as I'm concerned, she was still living. It was sharing. And I just wasn't here for it. But it was a whole big drama filled month or so that went on where we were talking about this. And what I found out in my travels after she's passed is that her husband was actually shopping, allegedly, he was shopping a reality show at the time. That's where all that drama came from. But instead of it being picked up for a reality show, it received a whole bunch of backlash and people kicked him in the tail, and which is exactly what he deserved. Exactly what he deserved. He deserved kicked in his tail. So really, I'm over him. Rest in peace to B. Smith. We love you and thank you for all that you've done for us. She is definitely a legend. Definitely a legend. Rest in peace, B. Smith. Swipe left. Okay, another piece of sad news. Uh, we're going to talk about Kobe Bryant. More on, we're talking about Vanessa. We're talking about Vanessa Bryant, okay? And I have 2 pieces of information on this situation, but Vanessa Bryant has actually filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the helicopter company, which was called Allen Express. What I've actually found is that business, that Allen Express, are actually out of business right now. But what is actually being filed is that there was negligence on the part of the helicopter company, that it's being said that the helicopter should not have been flying, and the blame is actually falling on the company and the pilot, is where they're actually going. When I heard the story, that was my thoughts. That was my thoughts when it was about inclement weather and that kind of thing. Immediately, I thought of negligence on the part of the helicopter company and the pilot. But, this has stretched out, so far because he's such a huge celebrity and all of that. So, listen, that part's done. The grieving process can actually really begin, and she can actually get through her grief, which is good, so she can get that behind her. But business has to be handled at this point. And I think her lawsuit is probably just the first of many, because I can't imagine that it's not going to be followed by the ones for the other families that were actually torn apart with the loss of their loved ones as well. So it's going to be interesting. I'm sure we have not heard the last of this. I will definitely be keeping my ear to the street and listening for this. We're going to swipe left on this part and come on back with another part that actually has to do with the Kobe Bryant story. Swipe left. Also in Kobe Bryant news, I'm shaking my head to people and just the extra that they always go through. People just, the public can be a mess at times. Beyonce had to actually come forth and explain. She had to explain well, she didn't have to do anything, but she explained herself about the fact that she blocked photos and video opportunities during the Kobe Bryant memorial service, with her performing in that. She wouldn't take photos and she didn't want video. And her whole point was not to take away from the family and what the actual situation was. The fact that the family was there memorializing their loved ones, and not, it's a Beyonce performance. So I definitely understood that. And the fact that she had to come forth and explain that this is why she did that and made those requests is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. People should have just actually got that. But folks were actually upset. People just jumped at this woman. I mean, they found any reason to be upset with Beyonce, and they found any reason to try to say she did something wrong. She was absolutely correct. It did not need to become the Beyonce show. She was right. She was right. And for that, listen, kudos to you, Beyonce. And all those who are upset, shame on you. Shame on you. Go hit yourself in the head with a garbage can. Mess. Anyway, swipe left. Oh boy, you know what? This is funny. See, I said three updates, but I misspoke. It's more than that. It's more. It's more than that. Let's do another one. Lil Boosie. Lil Boosie. Lil Boosie got into a little kerfuffle of his own with Planet Fitness back on the 20th. Listen to this. Listen to this. Lil Boosie has been banned from Planet Fitness in Jonesboro, Georgia. Wait. So he's not even allowed to go work out. You can't work out, Lil Boosie. You can't go into the showers. You're not allowed in the showers, Lil Boosie. Okay? You should be happy with the way you carry on. But he got banned due to his recent statement about the whole thing with Dwayne Wade's daughter, Zaya. That whole blow up has actually went into this whole thing with him and Planet Fitness. And it's really a mess. It really is a mess. He accused the manager of racism. Okay? He accused him of racism. The manager is part of the LGBTQIA community, allegedly. Okay? But Lil Boosie also admitted to insulting a staff member and having it out with the manager, and the manager denied entry. Okay? Well, force the whole, you're not allowed in here, buddy. That whole thing. Listen. So Lil Boosie, of course, ran to his social media, because that's what Lil Boosie does. He gets on his social media and he carries on. And this is what he had to say. Don't go in there anyway. They got roaches. Well, listen. Obviously, you're all right with inhabiting the same space as roaches, which I can't even imagine. Listen, let me tell you something. There's a few things I don't fool with. I don't mess with the boys in the brown tuxedos, and I don't fool with the girls in the fur coats, honey. Rats and roaches, baby, they wouldn't have to tell me to get out of Planet Fitness. If they actually have that going on, Mimi wouldn't have been at Planet Fitness anyway. But that was Lil Boosie's big comeback for Planet Fitness. Ciao. Listen, I'm not going to say that they're totally right. I'm not. I'm not going to sit and say that Planet Fitness is totally right. It's fine. I am a part of the LGBTQIA, and I don't use my position to bully. My position in the community is not to bully. When it comes to business, and this is probably not going to be received well by some of my brothers and sisters, but when it comes to business, listen, business is business. Politics and behaviors are politics and behaviors. Is it actually right to tell Lil Boosie that he cannot use the facility or do business with you all at Planet Fitness because you are basically part of the LGBTQIA, and he said something that was offensive to the community, or parts of the community, because it wasn't offensive to everybody in the community, parts of the community? Do you have the right to say, I don't want to do business with you? Because I remember back a little further when marriage was being legalized, there was a whole big case about a person that didn't want to do a wedding cake, and people that didn't want to file documents because it was against their religious beliefs. So it's kind of one of those things. Are they right? Are they wrong? And you know what? I may have to actually go and really dive into this little situation and do a separate video, because I'm not going to take up too much more time. But the same way that some of us felt about the cakes not wanting to be made and people down at the courthouse not wanting to file the documents because they were against the legalization of gay marriage, is the same thing, because he said something that he didn't agree with about transsexuality and them not wanting him to come to Planet Fitness. Listen, it's going to be fair across the board or not. So, again, like I said, some people might be a little ticked with me, but you got to look at things from both sides, especially when we're screaming out for equality. We got to look at things from both sides. So, though it is a funny story, it's a funny story. I'm not a fan of Boosie's, but I don't know that I really agree with this situation. If I owned the Planet Fitness, or I was running the Planet Fitness, he could come on in, child. Now, we would be in there looking at him sideways. But, it is what it is. Anyway, I think I'm going to delve into that. So y'all can look forward to seeing a video from me, and we'll get together and we'll talk about that a little more. But for right now, we're going to leave it alone. Lil Boosie, I think you probably lying about them folks having roaches, and that was really petty. I understand you being angry, but that was kind of petty. It's real petty to accuse a person of having the little boys in the brown tuxedos running around in their place of business. Nasty. Anyway, for now, on this, we're going to put this one in a parking lot, okay? Swipe left. Okay, you guys, listen to this. I've worked with children throughout the years. I love kids. Kids are hilarious. They are hilarious in the things that they do. And I'm going to say they do what it is that they see us do. So you have to really watch when you are in the process of working with or raising children or just being around children in general. They're like sponges. They pick up what it is that you're doing. So, with all that being said, I want you to take a look at this video that I ran into this week in my travels. Take a look. Baby, listen. When I looked at it, cute as a button, serious as hell. Serious as hell, do you hear me? Serious about his food. Babies, don't, what? You know that baby seen somebody else doing that. It was like his little soul has been here before. God bless somebody. I found it so cute, but it does reiterate the fact that when little people see us do stuff, honey, they're like sponges, honey. They sponge it up and they do what it is that they see. Gotta love them. Swipe left. Hey guys, listen here. I want to take a minute to talk about one of my favorites. That's it. She's one of my favorites, my absolute favorites, and forever will be. Whitney Houston. Okay, you guys. This past Tuesday, the Whitney Houston hologram debut, that whole little tour thing has kicked off in the UK. And I got to see a little bit of footage. Look at these photos. I told you all from the beginning that I was not on board for this. I'm not on board for it. It just didn't sound like a good idea to me from the beginning. It didn't seem like a good idea from the beginning. Some things you just can't change. It just is what it is. Death is the end for here. It's the end for here. And then we celebrate. A funeral is a celebration. For some reason, we feel sad when a person passes on, but the funeral is actually a celebration of the life. The memorial, those are a celebration of the life, and that they are passing on and they are transitioning to the afterlife. But for whatever reason, it leaves us sad as opposed to celebrating, like what you're actually taught that you're supposed to be celebrating. You celebrate the life of that person. But death is final. Death is final. When you are gone from that vessel that you were carrying around down here, it's final. You gotta let it go. That's why it doesn't surprise me that these things don't work. They're not natural. It doesn't work. It can't, listen, those photos, for me, the photos, the videos I saw, it looked ghostly. It looked ghastly. It looked very haunted house tease to me. Listen, I don't know about you all, but I don't want to see Whitney Houston in the haunted house version. If she wasn't doing a video or something that had a haunted house theme, when she's gone on to glory, I don't want to go to no concert for hundreds of dollars and see her up there giving me pass the peas, please, ghostly tease. I'm just not here for it. I didn't care for it. Her skin tone was off. That was another thing that was being discussed. Baby, that didn't look like Whitney Houston. That looked like Whitney Houston's Caucasian sister. She looked like a whole white woman. It didn't even look like our Whitney. That wasn't nippy. That was not nippy, darling. Nope. Nope. Not at all. And then the background singers, they looked spooky because everything was so dark. And then when you looked at them, their skin tones are correct. And they looked warm, like they had life in them. And Whitney looked ghastly. It didn't work. It's horrible. Maybe I wouldn't walk out of here to see that for free. I just think that is just out of order. I think this whole thing, and this is me speaking, this is my feelings, and I'm definitely interested to hear you all's feelings in the comments, but my feelings, I just think this was done out of pure greed. Pure greed. Pat and Michael Houston are actually the hosts of the show, and they're also touring with this show. Girl, bye. Pat and Michael ought to be ashamed of themselves. This is done out of nothing but pure greed. Pure greed. Just trying to get more money off of your sister's name. I think it's horrible. I really do. I just think it's, I was against it from the beginning, and now that I'm actually seeing what was done, I think it is horrible. But again, that is my feelings. Okay, that's my feelings. If you want to beat up on me about them, I'm going to have to allow you all to go ahead and beat up on me on that, because that is how I feel, and I ain't taking it back. But I'm definitely interested, and I will respect what you actually have to say, but those are my feelings, and I ain't taking it back. Whitney is gone. She is gone, and I just want to remember her like I remember her and enjoy her music and her videos that I actually have when she was living. I don't want to see hologram images of the ghastly version and the ghostly version of our girl. I ain't here for it. Anyway, hit the comments. I'll be respectful, and I definitely will read and talk back and forth with you about what you have to say. If you want to beat me up about mine and you know that I'm not going to budge, it's cool. I'll let you beat me up on this subject because I ain't budging. Anyway, swipe left. All right, guys. Another story that I'm probably not going to budge on too much was the fact that I enjoyed the Super Bowl halftime show. Listen, and I can't believe people are still going on and on about the Super Bowl halftime show. It makes no sense to me. Check this out. There are 1,312 people with active complaints to the FCC about the halftime show. Are you freaking kidding me? They are still going on about this whole thing and actually comparing it to the Janet Jackson nip slip, saying that it was worse than that it was definitely too sexy for family television. Really? Really? Are you kidding? I just sat back and I just shook my head. I shook my head because this is, in my opinion, this is nothing more than someone putting 20 on 10 Not just someone, 1,312 someones, putting 20 on 10 with some racist rhetoric, because it took me right back. I said, this is nothing but the fallout of people who were making those nasty racist comments and talking about people, they shouldn't be singing in Spanish. It should be this, that, and the other. They're just trying to find a way to make their point of being divisive and shady. And that's all this is. There was nothing wrong with that show. Listen, I've seen racier things on cartoons than I did on the stage at the Super Bowl. That is nothing more than garbage. It's garbage. It's just people wanting to have their way. Listen, this is America. You're not getting your way. It is what it is. It's about all of us. Everybody. It's about everybody. The halftime show is different every year so that everybody can get a chance. All the different genres of music get a chance to entertain, which means that everybody who is a part of America should be included and represented. So just keep on filing your complaints. Nobody cares. You're just spewing garbage. There's nothing wrong with that show. There was nothing wrong with that show. We see worse than that literally on a daily basis. Turn on Nickelodeon. Is there Nickelodeon still? Or the Cartoon Network? Or any of those kids channels? I promise you, you'll find off-color jokes that have no business being on those cartoons that are totally worse than what you saw on that stage. Child, get on out of my face, child. Swipe left. Listen, at this time, I'm going to turn the show over. You all know we've been doing this all month, and this is the last day of Black History Month. It is my pleasure to turn the show over to Really B TV. She is going to bring you a moment of Black history. Take it away, Really B.
Hello, I'm Really B, and this week we'll be discussing Fannie Lou Hamer and our unsung Black History moment. In 1962, Fannie Lou Hamer was a sharecropper living on the same land where her grandparents were slaves. It was at that time that she attended a protest meeting for voters' rights in Mississippi, which changed everything. She became very active with the movement and even joined SNCC, and in 1964 helped create and plan Freedom Summer. She focused her efforts on voter registration, and in 1964 she helped create the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, which was specifically created to go against the all-white power structure in Mississippi at that time. In 1964 was also when she delivered her famous speech at the Democratic National Convention, which was televised, and she's most famously known for her quote, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." Her activism cost her a lot. Once the power structure in Mississippi, in her hometown, found out how active she actually was in the civil rights movement, she was physically removed from her home along with her family. Throughout her time in the civil rights movement, she was threatened, beaten, and also shot. But it did not stop her, and she continued to work tirelessly for the rights of others until 1977, when she succumbed to cancer. Fannie Lou Hamer is unsung because her life of activism most times is reduced to that small clip that we see of her saying that she's sick and tired of being sick and tired. I implore you to dig deeper, do the research, and find out exactly why she was so sick and tired. Thank you.
Come on now. Fannie Lou Hamer, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you very much, Really B TV. We really appreciate you here at Swipe Left and at Spillitboy TV for your contribution all month. You have been phenomenal, and I really appreciate you, Queen. Thank you so much. Mwah! If you all have not subscribed to Really B TV on YouTube, please do so. Go to her channel. Listen, my name is Milan Trezor, and I approve this girl, honey. Go see Really B TV. Subscribe and check out our videos on YouTube. Thank you so much. Swipe left. Okay. An update. Go figure. So, Snoop Dogg Snoop Dogg has apologized publicly to Gayle King for his statements that he made. We're not going to repeat them. Snoop had actually gone on to Table Talk with Jada Pinkett Smith, and I felt that it was really a sincere apology. It came across, he doesn't apologize really for his feelings and why he popped off at Gayle, but the way in which he popped off at Gayle and the things that he said to Gayle and how it made his fans react is where the apology came from. And I feel like it was definitely sincere. And he said the wake-up call for him was, and it was literally a wake-up call. Baby, his mama called. His mama called him and said, really? Really though? This what we're doing? And he had to rethink it. There was some talk, where some people who were having their own little issues, and there was some talk about why it took so long for him to come back and apologize, because it was like 4 days later. But again, it took the phone call from his mama. He was in his feelings, and you don't always get. See, that's the thing about a fake apology and a real apology. You don't always get out your feelings in 24 hours. That's when you get those fake apologies. Those ones that I always be fussing about, the ones I can't stand. Those are the ones, the fake apologies. They come about in 10 hours, 2 hours, that kind of thing. It took a few days. It took mama to ring the phone. And then he apologized. And Gayle accepted. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Go ahead here. See, I'm having to do this too much today. Get out my face. Go ahead. Swipe left. Leave Snoop alone. Okay, guys. Now we've done tons of updates. Here's a new fresh story for you. And this is a whole mess. Trust me. A whole mess down to the internet streets. Bhad Bhabie versus Skai Jackson. Listen here. When I ran into this, I said, why are they even talking to each other? Okay? Why are they even talking to each other? Then it made sense when they said it was all about a little boy, honey. I said, oh, okay. You'll have that. It's all about this little NBA young boy, this rapper. So, Bhad Bhabie has accused Skai Jackson of having troll pages and basically trolling her on Instagram. And that popped off the argument. So there was some back and forth between the two of them. And Bhad Bhabie, for those of you who don't know who Bhad Bhabie is, go look her up, honey. That's the meet me outside. How about that? That's her. Okay? Skai Jackson is she was a Disney star. She's a child Disney star. Like I said, what the heck are those two even talking to each other for? But whatever. Bhad Bhabie goes on and she cussed her out. There's no way to get around it. There's no nicer way to say it. Baby, she cursed Skai Jackson out. Cussed her out, baby. When I looked up and she called her a Disney thought, I said, oh! Of course, she let Miss Skai have it, honey. But then she actually threatened to kill her, girl. There was a couple little death threats thrown in there. I said, oh. And see, the problem is, Bhad Bhabie, she done been known to do some pulling up and some different things like that. So I was like, oh, this is not good. Well, baby, listen, it gets better. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more ghetto, honey, the Disney star's mother jumped in, and she got to cussing out Bhad Bhabie. I said, Baby, she cussed Bad Baby out and told her, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. Just have your mama get in touch with me, honey. Listen, if you find a bad baby in the streets and you follow him home, I promise you a bad mama is going to answer the door. So, of course, Bad Baby's mother answered the call, baby, and then she and Kaya Cole, which is Skai Jackson's mother, they got to going back and forth on Instagram. When I say this was a whole mess, this was a whole ghetto ass mess. Yeah, I said it. A whole ghetto ass mess. Back and forth, and then the parents got into it back and forth. Now, I was shocked because the fact that Skai is a Disney star, her mama ought to know better. Bad Baby and her mother, girl, whatever. You know, we expect this kind of stuff. But Skai Jackson, you have had more training and more time in this. I was surprised to see her mother carried on like that. Skai ended up coming out and posting something that looked more Disney star worthy, but still full of mess. And I said, this is terrible. And I'm thinking all the endorsements and commercials and different things that she does. Why would you put your business at risk? And you know, I'm one to beef. Look, listen. When it comes to internet beef, give me a piece of bread and some mayonnaise, honey. You know, I'll go there with you. But I don't have endorsement deals such as Skai Jackson either. You know, when you get Disney money will keep you quiet. Disney money will have you call somebody a bitch under your breath. But I don't have those type of endorsement deals at this point. So if at any point somebody wants to give me some Disney money, then I'll say it under my breath. Until then, I'll continue to curse you out. But yeah, I was shocked. But how ghetto this went, and the parents. And listen, it all continued on. I think it was Skai that actually has filed a restraining order now, allegedly. Really? Ghetto mess. Pure mess. I thought it was hilarious. I said, this is completely hilarious. Definitely had to come down here and talk about it. But I could call the girl a Disney thought. Child, stop playing, honey. Anyway, I still stand on, why are they even talking to each other? Anyway, moving on. Swipe left. All right, let's talk about a movie release. There's a movie release coming June 2020. Now, if you've been with me anytime, you know I am not a fan of remaking movies that were done. And it's done. The story was done. I'm a writer myself. There are tons of us waiting to be discovered, waiting for our things to blow up. And for whatever reason, people are going back, pulling these old stories and remaking movies that have already been made. Why? There are fresh stories out there. But listen, every now and again, it gets done and it's a little interesting. Somebody has an interesting take on it. Listen here. Jordan Peele. See, when I heard Jordan Peele, that's why I even looked and gave time to the actual trailer. Because Jordan Peele is vicious. You understand me? Vicious. Jordan Peele has redone Candyman. Now, I loved Candyman, the horror movie Candyman. Jordan Peele is onto something, and he's not playing around. He is definitely putting a foot into the horror genre that has never been there with African American folk. See, because I'm going to tell you, I was always a horror movie fan. It didn't scare me because I couldn't relate. I couldn't relate. So there's always been a thing of with horror movies and my melanated self, I couldn't relate to what was going on. My reactions wouldn't be what the reactions are in the movie. None of that. Well, now Jordan Peele is putting his spin on things. Listen, let me tell you something. Horror movies now have a different effect. Jordan Peele movies have a different effect than the movies that I used to watch when I was a teenager, when I was in my 20s and in my 30s. Okay, shh. I'm 24 if anybody asks. But Jordan Peele, listen, I'm telling you, because there was some stuff on Us that I was like, oh, okay. But I'm looking at the way that it seems as though the story is being done and being updated. And it's not a rewrite of the old movie. It's an update and more of a continuation to, or a new spin on. Listen, I'm here for it. June 2020, I will be in the movie theater with my legs crossed, popcorn in hand, and a soda. Jordan Peele, you better do this thing. You better do this thing. And I really do have all faith that he's going to turn this movie out. Turn it out. And I'm telling you, it's a large job, because Candyman was pretty daggone groovy. Them bees and all that. Listen, hats off to Jordan Peele. I can't wait. June 2020, Candyman, y'all. Swipe left. All right, you guys. I want you to take a look at another video. And this is just like the video we watched a little bit earlier. Little boys and little girls. We're going to continue in the same vein. When they see you do it, they do it. They're like a sponge. They pick up and they do it. They don't just come up with things to say. They do it because they seen you do it. Take a look.
Don't scare me.
You don't scare me either.
You don't scare me with a monster head.
Girl, bye.
Bitch.
No, ma'am.
Baby, listen. Now, the baby boy that we looked at earlier, I laughed and I keyed it was funny. She ain't funny. That little girl ain't funny. She's serious. That little girl got an attitude problem. She got an attitude problem. But you can't even get mad at that baby, because that baby is doing what she's saying. She's doing what she's saying. But no, y'all need to get her and get that straightened out like yesterday. Bitch. I said, what? Little sis got an attitude problem. And y'all need to get on her and get her straight. Quick. Just keep in mind, you all, our babies, they do what they see us do. Be careful. Be very careful. Especially if you're dealing with that little girl. Be careful. That little girl got an attitude problem. Swipe left. Okay. So, this is our last thing, you guys, for today. We are getting ready to talk fashion. Let's have a fashion moment with Mimi, shall we? All right, fashion moment today is the NAACP Awards, the 51st annual NAACP Awards. It's the first time they've ever actually been aired on BET. It was live. It was fabulous. The red carpet was fantastic. They did a fantastic job. They really did. I enjoyed myself. And yeah, come on, BET. But I have three good, these are the three things that caught my eye. My favorite overall. Nah, let's not start with my favorite overall. Let's not do that. Let's start right here with Janelle Monáe. Do you see how cute? And that's all I can give it. It's cute. Janelle Monáe slayed. You understand me? It was so her. And whoever the stylist was she worked with, it was so on point for her. That black top and fit, because you know Janelle's built. She's built, and you would have to be, because there's nowhere to hide anything. The way that top, that midriffs are tricky, especially when you're messing around with evening wear and red carpet looks, because midriff can come across looking slutty and cheap a lot of times. A lot of people run around with midriffs on, and especially in these colder months, and you look a slutty, messy fool. I'm just saying. But this was done well thought out. The designer did a fabulous job. The black top, I love the way it was cut out, was very intricate and very interesting. And then when it went down to the burnt orange draping around the hip, perfect. And then the full exaggerated citrus skirt with just goobs and gobs of fabric. I was so here for it. So here for it. I thought it was totally beautiful. Janelle Monáe was perfect for it. Perfect for it. And the fact that she's so short and they actually pulled something with a lot of fabric, but it worked. Because she didn't look overcome by the fabric and short. She actually looked taller. She's not. She's a little tiny little thing. But she did that. And her jewelry was very modest. And something about it, everything just looked very young and fresh. She could have actually gone with bigger, bulkier jewelry, because she was giving me Amazonian princess. She could have played on that and really went there with the jewelry, but she kept the jewelry very modest, and I think that was like a thing for the night. I kept seeing like very modest jewelry. I was here for it. I loved the look. It was perfect. It was just perfect. Janelle Monáe looked fantastic. Swipe left. Next up, listen. She very rarely gets it wrong. I'm talking about Tracee Ellis Ross. Tracee Ellis Ross came through there and gave you Tracy Chambers 2020. Okay? Period. No ifs, no ands, no buts. Tracee Ellis Ross gave you Tracy Chambers 2020. And for those of you who don't know who Tracy Chambers is, that is Diana Ross's name and character from Mahogany, which is my all-time favorite movie. And this whole look, this purple crushed velvet, was just completely luxurious. The fabric was just luxurious. And I love, it was simple. It was, the silhouette was classic. That whole front, that décolleté with the up-here waist and the wrap skirt with the front slit, that whole look was timeless. Timeless. The boxed off shoulders, listen, it was draped to perfection. It really was. And everything, her jewelry, her makeup, her hair, everything, the way she wore it, her shoes, everything that Tracee did was dead on, and it all said yes. In case you were asking, I am Diana Ross's daughter. Please don't get it messed up. It was, like I said, Tracy Chambers 2020. And I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when she came on screen and Ross looked up and seen her. Because I know she just broke into a smile. When I looked, I just seen her mother. I just seen her mother when she was younger. I was like, oh my gosh. I thought it was fabulous. And this is when you're somebody. You're somebody. Because Tracee actually made a call to have her dress pulled off the runway for her. She seen it in a runway show. And she wanted it. And she got it. Because she's Tracee. Not because she's Diana Ross's daughter. Truly because she's Tracee Ellis Ross. Okay? Y'all better get into it. Swipe left. So as much as I love Tracee's outfit, you know that it had to be something really stellar and spectacular that has taken my favorite piece of the night. My favorite piece of the night, hands down, was Riri. Baby, look at Rihanna. Rihanna gave you couture. Do you understand? It was couture. She was the best dress for the night for me. I got my complete life. When I seen her, I was like, stop playing. And when she stood on stage and you could see the full effect, purple, plissé, and nothing but ruffles. It was just, ugh, I don't even know. I don't even have the words. I don't even have the words. It was a ruffled, horsehair braided piece of perfection. It really was. I said, oh my gosh. Ombre on the sleeves and that's couture. Trust me. I would love to know how many hours and how many people worked on this dress. Everything was so strategically placed. The dyeing of the fabric, the fact when you all heard me say, please say, that is those permanent, really tiny pleats. That's a chemical process that they actually do to fabric to make that happen. And it's expensive. It's time consuming. And then, like I said, the actual sewing on the fabric after it's processed that way is, listen, I would love to know how many hours went into this. Then she had minimal jewelry, and y'all already know me in the strappy purple satin sandal. Quit playing. And I'm even giving up to her for this hair. I was like, okay, Riri. It was simple. She said a simple braid going through, and just her hair was snatched in a ponytail, and the ponytail wasn't all overdone, because she could have very easily overdid it with the hair. I was here for the whole look. It was my favorite, and it just screamed couture. Riri tore that stage up at the NAACP Awards. And then when she stood on stage and gave her speech, and the things that she actually came out of her mouth with, just really wrapped it all up for the night. She said, tell your friends to pull up. I said, come through, Riri. Listen, it was fantastic. Just like I've had a fantastic time with you all this go round on Swipe Left. Listen. Thank you all for hanging out with me for the original Swipe Left. Like I said in the beginning, often imitated, never duplicated. I am Milan, and this is Swipe Left. See you guys next week.